The Caibalion is not a book to be read casually. It is a mirror held up to your deepest self, a map for those who are ready to step beyond the illusions of everyday life. Today we will explore how its principles can shift not just your perspective, but the very way you interact with reality itself. If you have felt stuck, as if invisible walls surround your mind and heart, this is the moment where understanding can begin to dissolve those barriers. The Caibalion is not an abstract theory. It is a living guide, revealing its truths only to those who are prepared to take responsibility for their inner journey, to look unflinchingly at the patterns that shape their existence, and to engage consciously with the forces of life that are always at play. Take a moment now and write this in the comments. I am ready to perceive what has always been within me. Let that phrase anchor you. Share it, feel it, let it resonate. By doing so, you are beginning the act of aligning your mind to higher frequencies of understanding. And if you want to go even deeper, become a member of the Thoth channel. Join a community that explores these principles together, a space where curiosity is nurtured and spiritual insight is cultivated. Access reserved for those who are serious about transformation. From the very first page of the Caibalion, the principle of mentalism greets you. The all is mind. The universe is mental. This is not a poetic exaggeration. Everything you experience, every challenge and every moment of clarity is first conceived in the invisible realm of thought. Consider for a moment how often your mind has created limits that feel insurmountable. The recognition that your reality originates in thought is the first step toward reclaiming power you did not realize was yours. Imagine your mental habits as seeds. The Caibalion teaches which seeds produce life and which create shadows. Once you see this, you can consciously choose which thoughts to cultivate, which to release. The second principle, correspondence, whispers the eternal truth. As above, so below. As below, so above. This is the framework for understanding patterns in your life. What occurs in your external world reflects internal states. If your life feels chaotic or blocked, it is not merely coincidence. It is a reflection of subtle misalignments in your inner landscape. Begin to observe patterns without judgment, like a scientist of your own soul. The Caibalion encourages you to trace these connections, to see the invisible threads that tie your thoughts, emotions, and external conditions into a single tapestry of experience. Vibration is the third key. Nothing rests, everything moves, everything vibrates. Your mental states, your feelings, your entire being has a vibration that resonates across unseen fields. Most people live unaware, their inner states dictating outer reality like a silent conductor behind a closed curtain. By consciously raising your vibration through reflection, imagery, or even subtle shifts in perception, you can alter the current of your daily life. Imagine a pond. A single stone thrown with intention ripples outward, changing the flow across its surface. So too can a thought rooted in conscious awareness ripple through your reality. Polarity, the fourth principle, challenges the dualities you have always accepted as fixed. Hot and cold, light and dark, joy and despair. All extremes are points on a continuum. When you understand this, the power to transform arises naturally. You no longer react to life as if trapped by opposites. Instead, you learn to navigate the spectrum consciously, to shift perception and soften extremes. This principle is not intellectual. It is experiential. Start by noticing the opposites in your own thoughts and emotions and gently explore the space in between. That space is freedom. The principle of rhythm speaks next. Life flows in cycles, and understanding the rise and fall of all things allows you to navigate them without resistance. The Caibalion shows that every swing of life's pendulum contains opportunity. By observing the rhythm, you can anticipate change, adjust expectations, and engage life more gracefully. Consider your personal patterns, emotional, mental, relational, as the tide. Awareness of the tide itself is what transforms struggle into mastery. You do not need to fight the current, you learn to move with it. Cause and effect is the sixth principle, reminding us that nothing happens by chance. Every action, every thought, every choice has consequences. Often people feel powerless, as though life happens to them. The Caibalion inverts this perspective. You are the initiator, the subtle cause behind many effects. Begin small. Notice your habitual responses, your recurring thoughts. These are seeds of causality. Alter them consciously, and the effects that follow will gradually transform. The seventh principle, gender, is often misunderstood. It does not refer merely to sex or identity, but to universal principles of creation, balance, and synthesis. Within every mind, thought, and action, there exist active and receptive forces. Recognizing and balancing these energies within yourself allows you to generate new ideas, harmonize relationships, and even reshape habitual patterns of thought. Imagine an internal dialogue between the active and receptive forces, a creative tension that, once acknowledged, becomes a source of profound insight. Applying these principles requires patience, self-reflection, and courage. The Caibalion is not a manual of quick fixes, it is a mirror and a guide. Many people report that even small steps, like consciously observing thoughts, noticing patterns, or recognizing emotional vibrations, can produce subtle yet profound shifts. Your reality is already a canvas. The teachings of the Caibalion help you choose the colors with intention, creating a life that resonates with clarity, alignment, and meaning. Thoth, the ancient teacher and symbol of wisdom, reminds us that knowledge must be lived, not merely observed. The principles he embodies are not intellectual games. They are invitations to perceive the invisible currents guiding every choice and every moment. Every archetype, symbol, or image you encounter is a reflection of these principles. By contemplating them, you are engaging with the architecture of reality itself, cultivating insight that penetrates beyond the ordinary. The challenge is to maintain awareness in daily life. You are surrounded by distractions, inherited thought patterns, and unconscious habits. The Caibalion acts as a compass in this terrain, guiding attention, sharpening perception, and offering a framework to reinterpret experiences. This is why the teachings are revealed selectively. Those prepared to engage deeply, without expectation of instant results, are the ones who receive their full wisdom. Visualization and reflection are tools the Caibalion encourages. Even a few minutes each day spent observing thought patterns, imagining higher alignments, or contemplating the correspondence between inner and outer reality can create measurable shifts. Imagine a quiet inner temple where each thought is placed carefully, observed, and refined. This discipline cultivates discernment and opens the mind to subtler truths. Integration comes gradually. Each principle reinforces the others, creating a network of understanding. Mentalism informs vibration. Vibration interacts with polarity, and so forth. The Caibalion is a living system. You experience it more profoundly with practice. Those who engage consistently often notice heightened intuition, clearer perception, and subtle harmonization of daily experiences. The teachings also highlight responsibility. Recognizing the mental nature of reality is not a license to escape, but a call to conscious engagement. Your thoughts and attitudes echo across every aspect of life. Through reflection, careful observation, and deliberate alignment, you can redirect patterns that previously seemed immutable. Many people report this process cultivates serenity, clarity, and a sense of empowerment rooted not in ego, but in awareness. Symbolism is the language of the Caibalion. Archetypes, metaphors, and mental images serve as vessels for comprehension. You do not need elaborate practices. Attention, contemplation, and openness are sufficient. Symbols act as bridges between the conscious and the subconscious, between the known and the unknown. By working with symbols internally, you learn to navigate the invisible architecture of experience. The teachings invite exploration without dogma. Each principle is a key, but the door must be opened from within. There is no external authority dictating outcomes. The Caibalion encourages self-inquiry, observation, and alignment with patterns that are already present. This personal engagement transforms reading into living, discipline of mind is subtle but crucial. Observing reactions, adjusting habitual thought loops, and noticing emotional vibrations are all forms of practice. The Caibalion does not demand dramatic effort, only steady, conscious attention. These small actions ripple outward, creating coherence between perception, emotion, and response. Reflection leads to insight, insight to adjustment, and adjustment to transformation. You may notice changes first in perception, then in decision-making, then in circumstance. The Caibalion is not a tool of instant gratification. It is a mirror revealing the processes already in motion. Patience and awareness are your greatest allies. As you continue to apply these principles, consider how your understanding of causality, polarity, and rhythm reshapes daily interactions. You will notice subtle patterns emerging. Situations that previously caused frustration now offer insight. Relationships take on new depth and internal conflicts become manageable. This is not magic. It is alignment with principles that have always operated quietly in the background. There is a rhythm beneath all things, yet it is subtler than the beat of a drum or the sway of waves. This rhythm is not merely observable. It is felt in the alignment of thought, intention, and perception. Many have assumed that life's patterns are imposed externally, that the world acts upon them like a puppet theater. The Caibalion challenges this quietly radical notion. Patterns emerge as reflections of inner states. You are not a spectator, but a participant shaping currents in ways that are almost invisible at first. The shift begins when you notice your reactions before circumstances even arise, sensing the tremors of your own influence on reality. The mind is a laboratory, and the Caibalion hands you the keys without instruction on how to misuse them. Each idea, each insight, is a catalyst for experimentation within your own consciousness. Consider how often a fleeting thought changes your mood, your decisions, or your perspective, yet you dismiss it. Here lies a hidden power. Deliberate attention to these subtle impulses allows a quiet orchestration of experience. Your inner landscape becomes an art form, a silent choreography of cause, effect, and resonance that previously seemed unreachable. In every encounter there is a mirror, not a literal mirror, but one cast by interactions, emotions, and subtle cues that reveal hidden dimensions of self. You may have thought that others are merely external agents, but the Caibalion whispers a different possibility. Your perception constructs the encounter itself. By noticing your emotional and mental resonance, you begin to detect invisible harmonics. The world responds not to abstract commands, but to the quality of your attention, the precision of your focus, and the subtle alignment of thought and feeling. Vibration, revisited with deeper nuance, is more than movement. It is intelligence in motion. Even the smallest mental adjustment sends ripples across your own experiential field. When a thought carries clarity and calm, its vibration extends, subtly reordering perception. Many assume that change must be dramatic to be effective, but here the shift is invisible, almost paradoxical. The smallest recalibration of internal rhythm can reorder entire patterns of daily life. This is not theoretical. It is the daily laboratory of conscious practice. The notion of polarity deepens when you see that extremes are invitations rather than obstacles. You may have learned to fight tension or push against discomfort, yet the Caibalion suggests a different approach. Observe, lean, and flow between states. Light and dark are not enemies, but partners in perception. By moving gently along the spectrum, you discover spaces that were never apparent before. Spaces where new insight, creativity, and clarity arise. It is here, in these subtle zones, that transformation begins, imperceptible to those seeking only immediate results. Correspondence operates at the edges of perception. As above, so below. But the above is not distant. It is encoded within your own mental and emotional architecture. Patterns in the cosmos and in human behavior are not external scripts, but mirrors for what is already forming internally. You can learn to anticipate, adjust, and interact with life, not through force, but through understanding, of these correspondences. Small insights suddenly create large shifts. A perception once abstract becomes tangible in how you approach decisions and relationships. Cause and effect, when examined closely, reveals layers often overlooked. Every thought is a seed, every reaction a subtle influence, every choice a ripple. Many interpret cause as linear, but the Caibalion reframes it. Causality is multidimensional. A single intention can resonate across time and circumstance in ways invisible yet undeniable. Awareness of this principle cultivates a heightened sense of accountability, not as a burden, but as a tool for creative engagement with life itself. Gender, reconsidered, is a principle of synthesis and balance, not literal identity. Within every thought and perception exist active and receptive forces. Most believe energy must be masculine or feminine in a literal sense, yet here it is a dynamic of creation, an interplay that generates insight and realignment. Recognizing and harmonizing these internal forces allows subtle but profound shifts in how you approach challenges, visualize outcomes, and cultivate understanding. The act of observation itself is transformative. By watching thoughts without interference, you create the conditions for internal synthesis. Many overlook this subtlety, assuming that insight comes only through active effort. Yet the Caibalion teaches that consciousness, when aligned and observant, reorganizes patterns spontaneously. Awareness itself is a creative act, a ripple that extends outward from the mind into experience. Time is a mirror of thought patterns. Linear perception is only a habit. Deeper awareness sees cycles, repetitions, and echoes that reveal the invisible architecture of experience. When you notice patterns, you can anticipate the shifts in emotional, mental, and relational currents. The Caibalion encourages this deep observation, not as intellectualization, but as a form of attunement, a way to navigate life with subtlety, precision, and an elegance that feels natural rather than forced. Symbols are more than signs, they are condensed wisdom. A single image or word can resonate with multiple layers of consciousness simultaneously. Many treat symbols superficially as decoration or abstraction. The Caibalion instructs differently. Symbols serve as bridges between levels of perception, between the conscious and subconscious, guiding understanding without conscious effort. Engaging with symbols in this way allows subtle, internal alignment and generates clarity that cannot be forced. Reflection, when disciplined, becomes an instrument for insight. Not merely thinking about life, but observing life as it emerges, moment by moment. Each pattern noticed, each subtle vibration felt, allows incremental recalibration. Many expect immediate breakthroughs, but here the power is cumulative. Each observation, each subtle insight, compounds, producing a lattice of awareness that eventually transforms habitual perception itself. The principle of mental causation expands when applied to emotions. Feelings are not random, they are indicators, reflections, and catalysts. They do not exist separately. They weave together in daily awareness. Many assume mastery requires understanding each in isolation, but true fluency comes from seeing them operate simultaneously, like threads in a living tapestry. Observation, reflection, and subtle application create an internal ecosystem of perception where insight and clarity grow naturally. The Caibalion invites an inner dialogue between the conscious and subconscious mind. Most believe their conscious mind dictates life, but here the subtle revelation emerges. Influence is reciprocal. The mind responds to observation, attention, and alignment. By cultivating this dialogue, patterns that seemed fixed begin to shift. Awareness acts as both navigator and sculptor, shaping perception and reality concurrently. Attention is the vehicle of transformation. Not focused effort, not forced control, but refined, deliberate attention to thought, feeling, and perception. Even a single moment of focused observation can redirect habitual currents of mind and emotion. Many have underestimated this, equating change with external action. Yet the Caibalion shows that inner attention precedes and generates external coherence. The journey through the principles is infinite. Each insight opens doors to new perception. Each alignment reveals subtler patterns, and each reflection deepens understanding. There is no destination. The path itself generates revelation. As you practice observation, resonance, and alignment, you begin to notice questions emerging in your mind. How subtle is the influence of thought? What patterns have gone unnoticed for a lifetime? How might small, deliberate shifts ripple outward? These questions themselves are the next portal of discovery, inviting continued engagement and deeper exploration. The journey through the Caibalion is not merely about understanding principles. It is about entering a rhythm of perception where the invisible becomes tangible. Most assume that change happens externally, but the teachings reveal that subtle shifts in thought, attention, and awareness resonate outward, producing effects that ripple across days, decisions, and relationships. Imagine perception as a lens. Small adjustments in focus can reveal entire landscapes previously unseen. Here, mastery is less about control and more about attunement. Every nuance in thought and feeling becomes a node of potential influence, a place where insight and subtle creation converge. Consider the principle of mentalism once again, but this time not as a statement, rather as an experiential doorway. Your mind is not a container of thoughts, but a medium where reality itself begins to take form. Most people believe reality is fixed and external, yet when observed through the lens of conscious awareness, each thought, however fleeting, imprints subtle traces into the fabric of experience. The quiet recognition of this is transformative. You begin to notice how intention and focus shape outcomes, not through force, but by participating consciously in the subtle architecture of existence. Correspondence operates at a layer beneath conscious recognition. Events that appear unrelated are, in truth, interwoven by patterns reflecting internal states. A disagreement at work, a sudden insight in meditation, or a fleeting emotion is connected by invisible threads. Many overlook these threads because they are subtle, almost imperceptible, yet they guide perception and choice. By attuning to these echoes, you can anticipate shifts, respond with precision, and gradually mold the inner landscape that generates external harmony. Vibration is not merely energy, it is intelligence moving through thought, feeling, and perception. You may have assumed that impact requires dramatic action, but subtle vibrations carry power beyond ordinary measurement. A single sustained thought aligned with clarity and intention can influence the surrounding field of consciousness, altering mood, perception, and even circumstances without visible effort. In this, the Caibalion instructs on the art of subtle mastery, working quietly, with intent, and observing the unfolding effects. Polarity challenges habitual dichotomies in ways that are often overlooked. Opposites are not enemies. They are dynamic expressions of the same underlying continuum. Happiness and despair, confidence and doubt, expansion and contraction. These are not fixed. They are points on a spectrum that can be navigated consciously. Awareness of polarity allows internal recalibration, where the mind gently shifts along the spectrum, discovering intermediate states rich with insight. Here, transformation emerges not through struggle, but through perceptive adjustment. Rhythm extends beyond cycles. It is the cadence of all internal and external events. The ebb and flow of mental states, emotional currents, and perception form a complex network of recurrence. Most people interpret swings as external imposition, yet the Caibalion demonstrates that rhythm is a mirror of internal harmony or misalignment. Observing these oscillations without resistance allows you to glide with the tide, converting apparent obstacles into opportunities for alignment and clarity. Cause and effect reveals layers beyond immediate observation. Each thought and emotion is a subtle cause, each reaction an effect that reverberates through conscious and subconscious layers. Many assume linearity, yet patterns extend beyond visible timelines, weaving connections that are perceptible only with patient observation. By discerning these hidden causal relationships, You can intervene at the level of thought and intention, influencing outcomes before they fully manifest externally. Gender, when examined deeply, is an internal interplay of active and receptive forces. Most assume these energies belong to external roles, but within the mind, every idea, decision, and reflection arises from this dynamic tension. Recognizing the interplay internally allows for synthesis, creation, and subtle realignment. By harmonizing these forces, you enhance clarity, decision-making, and perception of nuanced patterns, generating effects that ripple outward in unexpected ways. The act of observation is not passive. Watching thoughts and emotions with deliberate attention restructures internal architecture. Many believe insight requires action, yet awareness itself is a form of intervention. Observing the rise and fall of emotions, the texture of mental imagery, or the cadence of thought is an ongoing creative act, subtly shaping perception and the contours of daily experience. Each attentive moment becomes a microcosm of conscious influence. Before concluding, leave the key phrase in the comments: I embrace the wisdom of the Caibalion and commit to expanding my perception of reality. This seals your vibrational commitment to this journey of consciousness. The Caibalion is a mirror. Everything that seems external already exists within. Aligning attention, intention, and perception transforms every thought into a silent agent of change. The power to shape reality lies not in external force, but in the subtle precision of a mind that observes, reflects, and adjusts. Every moment offers recalibration. Every insight opens a door to the unseen, revealing deeper layers of understanding. For those who feel the call and wish to explore Thoth's mysteries further, join the invisible brotherhood of this channel. Subscribe and allow the connection with ancient wisdom to become constant, a silent seal of belonging and alignment.